And welcome back to Wednesday night, everyone. What's going on? How's your Wednesday going? It's going good here. All right. Where are we? We're there. Okay. Yay. Let's just keep going. So I'm going to kind of concentrate on this building, I think. That's going to be the right way to go. Let's get this tower in. It's a little bit lighter. And this building is starting to introduce a little bit of like a tan color. So we're going to run with that. Go a little bit lighter on this one. Again, what I'm doing is I'm using the photocopy first to see what it looks like on that scale. Is that not light enough? What is that? Yeah, not light enough. I'm using the photocopy first for scale, and then I'm kind of glancing over at the reference photo, which is right here for you guys. And I will do this, I think this is a good way to do this throughout the process. I'll just pop up a small picture of what I'm working on so you guys can actually watch it. I may have to go full on white with this. It just doesn't seem to be popping out the way I want it to. So too much paint in here too. Okay. I'm laughing because have you ever had something happen where you're cooking and you're like, oh, a little bit more salt, a little bit more salt. Oh, there's not enough salt, and you put too much salt in it. That's what just happened there. Because I was getting impatient, and that's why I laughed, because it does happen more times than I'd want to admit. All right, good. There are little windows on this guy too. I don't know what this is, elevator shaft or something? No, maybe not. So we're going to just kind of put in a texture there for now, because this building is kind of tucked in the back, because we have to do the front of this guy first. For that, it is white. This paint is been on this palette for a little while. And especially with the thicker colors, well, it happens with all the colors with this wet palette from Redgrass. I love it. I absolutely love it. But you do have some compromises to make because of the way it works. It draws water up from the bottom from this pad underneath. And as that continues to happen, it changes the consistency of the paint. It makes it thinner. And this stuff is pretty thin right out of the gate. So when you make this stuff thinner, it tends to get unruly, which is, you just got to deal with it. Either put out more paint or, All right, let's get this. Oh, that's not in the right spot at all. Damn it. Okay. That's okay. We can fix that. So the other side of the edge of this pool has another. Actually, the whole thing is outlined. What do you know? All right, so we're gonna do that same trick to thin these white lines out, because white doesn't want to really do anything well. I mean, it covers well, but it doesn't airbrush well. It doesn't paintbrush well, and it can't because of the heaviness of the pigment. So we choose our battles with it. Like if I want to get a real thin line, I have to do that trick I did with the bottom one last week. I got to put it in as best I can and then just fix it. And that's fine. So we're going to leave that before I do the... Well, yeah, we could do that. Pool color, I think, is up here. Yeah, we can fix that a little bit. There are really faint... Looks like... lane lines in this, no, not ley lines, lane lines in this pool. So I'm going to get those in too. So what I'm doing is I'm using the pool color to thin out that line on the top, the white line on the top. Okay, so the lane lines, I can't really tell how many there are. They're just super subtle, but we're going to get them in. So we take the same pool color, a little bit of it, Drop it down here, and then just add the tiniest bit of black to make a grayish color. Yeah, like that. Again, this is the trap. You know, I can see them in the close-up photo. There is no way you can see them in the photocopy. Excuse me. So, you know, I'm putting in things now that you really shouldn't be able to see, but these are what's going to really make the painting, because if you can lean into this painting at a show, you're going to see those really faint lines. No, those really aren't the lane lines. Those are the, you know, whatever other lines are in this thing. But these are the lane lines. So get a little bit more of that, recharge the brush, and drop a few of these in. Perfect. Excellente. Good, 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 good. Again, like as I lean back now, I'm about 18 inches away. I can't see them with you know, just by looking at it. I'd have to be really super close, or I'd have to have a magnifier. And that's great. That's what I want. That's what I want. It's what separates this painting from just being a photograph or a copy. You know what I mean? It's like you can only get so far down with the resolution. I mean, there are some printers that can get super fine, but even still, not as fine as you can paint yet. So we're still, we have an advantage. And then for the painting itself, it takes on a life that I can't describe. When you see an actual painting, it looks totally different than any representation I could pull up of it. You know, if I post it online, or if I, you know, have a print made of it, it just, and I have some great prints. Like the prints that I have now are unbelievable. They are super close to the real painting, but there is a difference. There is a difference between the painting and the print, the reproduction. So what I've done is I've grabbed that blue again, added a bunch of black, and I got to put this little, I guess it's a shadow along this top edge. So this is, again, this is really, really thin. So the way I'm going to get it to the final value is just by going over it multiple times. It has to dry between, which is an issue. You know, if I keep going over it, nothing's going to build up. It's just going to keep sloshing it around. So I do have to let it dry, but this is so thin and I'm putting on such a small line that it does dry pretty quick. So I don't have to like go away 15 minutes, you know, wait 15 minutes and then come back. It does dry pretty quick. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. Makes me happy. All right. Is this the right color? I still feel this color is a little bit off. Let's add a little bit of, I've been using moss green, which is great. Let's add a little bit of Viridian though. I'm just feeling, actually I want to, no, I got plenty of the yellow in it. It's a very unusual color. And what's going on there, it's probably unusual because, you know, if you were to really be able to, like if you're standing on that surface, it's probably vastly different than what I'm even looking at. You know, this photo is good, but it kind of blended everything together. So, I mean, who knows? There might be green tile. I can't get that close. I can't tell. So I got to kind of wing it to see what I can come up with. So this is Viridian, and Viridian is a brilliant green. We're obviously not going to just drop this on here, but we're going to use some of that, you know, where the moss green has a really yellowish tone to it. Viridian does not. It's like a lot of that. I mean, even though the green has yellow in it. All right, this is good. Yes, I like this. I like where this is going. Again, this is super thin, so this is really to just kind of add another layer, you know, of complexity to this color. And I'm liking this. Yep, I like it. This thing down here is really dark, but I'm still going to put this in here again, it adds to its complexity. I'm assuming, well, no, it isn't the same color at all. It's more of a, and there are also, I don't know what, some sort of gray rectangles on this too. So I'm putting, you know, an unusual amount of time in to match this up, but, and it's going to have stuff on it, but yeah. All right, that's good. That is good. I still don't like that window. This bottom edge is bugging me just because the metal, you can barely see it, but because of the way this piece was sheared, the metal is actually rolled over a little bit, so it makes that edge a little bit wonky, but that's fine. I think I'm splitting hairs. All right, good. I know. Got that turquoise up here too. I do like that. I do like what it did for it. Bit too wet. If there's too much paint in the paintbrush, it'll pool at the end of the stroke. So it'll, you know, well, the way the paint comes off the brush is once you make contact, when you start drawing the paintbrush across, it's pulling the paint off the brush. You know what I mean? So it's essentially the way you get the paintbrush to work is you touch it so that the paint can make contact with the surface. And then think about like you're laying down a rope. And that's exactly what it's like. So if the paint is if there's too much paint in the brush, or if it's too wet, you'll pull out too much of that rope. It'll just like you've seen them like drop an anchor on a boat. It's like that. It just all comes out. So you got to find the right consistency, you know, the right reduction, I guess, when you palette the brush. And you do get used to it pretty quickly. You know, especially if you're using the same. You know, like this is a Kolinsky, a sable brush. Once you get used to the hairs and the way that the paint reacts with those hairs, you do get used to it really quick. You kind of get a quick feel for how thick the paint, you know, or what the thickness of paint will do. Because, you know, it's not always that you're going to use the same consistency. Sometimes you want it to be really dry in the brush to give you a certain technique, or you want it to flood out. But you pick up that really, really fast, which is fun. All right, I like that. I like it a lot. This outside edge of all this stuff is a little bit lighter, so we're going to kind of finish it up here. So I'm going to take some white, same deal, just kind of like lighten that up a little bit as far as viscosity. I got something in my throat today. And I'm just going to go over these edges. This is probably a little bit too thin because it's not really impacting as fast as I want. So we're going to add a little bit more paint to that. And we'll try that again. I had to lean back to see if you guys could see what I'm doing because I'm super afraid. Two things: that the microphone is off and I'm talking to myself, and that I've pushed this thing off camera and you guys, I'm talking and painting and you guys can't see it. That's my other big fear. All right, so now I've got the white in here. So there's an edge. There's an edge along this top set of windows. So we're going to do the ruler trick for that. So what I do is I just kind of line up the point. So I've got you can see it, right? The paintbrush ferrule is on the ruler. So I line up that first point by moving the ruler slightly so that I make contact there. And then I make contact here to make sure the ruler's lined up, and then I can run the line right across. That's a little too thick, but the good news is the bottom half of that is right where it needs to be, so I can fix that. Meaning I can add a little bit of gray to that fascia to make it work. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, good. This wall over here is lighter too, so we'll throw that in, or start to anyway. The other way I describe this, especially with dry brushing, it's extremely like carving. It's not so much painting, it's like carving out different shapes out of the other colors. So with that white, I'm just kind of straightening up the edge of that green. And it's kind of a neat way to think about it, and it definitely has a cool effect on the painting because you can feel that that almost like carving feel of it too. You get depth out of it, and it's hard to describe really the phenomenon that's going on there, but it definitely has that effect. All right, I'm going to do this now because I can. This long edge of this green field has that same white edge on it, so I'm going to put that in now because I know I'll have to clean it up later anyway when I go to do the darker areas. And this is, again, this is long enough to do this ruler trick with. Just want to be real careful with the ruler now because it's on the painting, and this is just basically a piece of metal, piece of steel, so it's be super easy to scratch the painting, which I've already done, which I will show you in a minute. I may not have to clean this line up at all. This came out great. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I whacked the painting right there and put a big scratch in it. It doesn't matter because I haven't painted that yet, but yeah. Yay! We're still doing things, kids. All right, so there's a lot of shadow around this, whatever this is, elevator shaft. So we're just going to kind of get the lighter tone in, so we're good. And then we'll start darkening this up. Oh, there is another white line on the back of that too. Lovely. I also have to keep looking at the time because these paintings get away from me super fast. I can literally sit here and do this for hours. All right, we're going to get the top edge too. Oh, do I want to darken this up a little bit first? I do. Okay. This little elevator shaft, you guys can see it in the photo. See how it kind of gets darker down at the bottom, as it goes behind the building. So we're gonna get all that in first before we put in that white edge in front. See how the white edge along here is really pronounced. So this is kind of a tan color, so we're going to add that tan color in here. And same thing, I did this elevator shaft or whatever this is. It looks like a part of the building. It's probably big enough to be the building, but whatever it is. I've already got white in here, so now by adding the tan layers on top of it, it makes it more complex. It's not just a white blob in the middle of everything. There we go. I'm not going to worry about the roof on this, the black roof. Yet, or am I? Yeah, I guess we're at that point. So grab the windows that are in there, so whatever those are. The windows and the roof. Let's start with the roof. We'll cut that back out. I had to hold my breath for this one. Tiny, and this one's even smaller back here. Awesome. And then there is a pretty dark edge here. I am going to grab the airbrush. Oh, am I going to grab the airbrush? Yeah, I think I am. So I'm going to grab it like a darker gray here to do this line that's running along here. Oops, brush kicked out a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, no problem. There we go. That worked out well. Okay, now the windows or whatever these things are black. All right, so, I mentioned it last week, and, I told you my nerves and concern about doing these tractor pull paintings with you guys, and I'm going to stop doing that because if you're here, I'm assuming you enjoy it and you want to see it. So what I am going to tell you, though, is what I've learned from painting like this has basically jumped over into all other paintings that I do. In fact, it's such a nice thing to have like a relentless kind of pursuit of detail, because I can always tone that down. And what I find is when I tone it down, essentially like on a bigger painting, like obviously, I mean, some artists do, and they're amazing paintings where they'll do this type of detail, but on a, 6 or 8 foot painting. And it'll take them like, 10 years to do the painting. And they're amazing. They're just mind-blowingly amazing. But it's nice to have that ability, but then to be able to do a 6 foot by 10 foot painting and be able to turn it off at some point. Say, okay, this is enough detail. I can just paint this painting, and you choose the detail level. It's nice to know. Basically, it's nice to know that your car can do 150 miles an hour. You're not going to necessarily do 150 miles an hour all the time, but it's super nice to know that it can do it if you need it. So that's what this has given me by being this absolutely crazy with trying to get everything right. It opened up so many doors on being able to make that call, and so it's helped out a lot. Plus, technique-wise, I've learned a lot of different things that I wouldn't necessarily have thought of by working this small that I can apply on a bigger painting. So if it's something that interests you, don't think it's a waste of time. You do get a lot out of it, like anything. If you pursue any kind of art as far as what you're doing, even if it doesn't seem like it's the same type of art, you will find a way to apply it to what you're doing across the board. It's that that old saying, to a hammer, everything is a nail. Well, it can actually be an advantage to you too, because it'll help you solve a problem when you're thinking outside the box too. If you're dealing with a screw and you're a hammer, you might think of a way to get things done that a screwdriver wouldn't think of. You know what I mean? So take it all in. Take it all in. All right, that's the green thing there. Did I put that in the wrong spot? No, that's that. There's another, I have the green in the wrong spot. Oh, lovely. Well, all right, we're going to have to deal with that real quick. No, how much time we got? 9 minutes. Yeah, we'll deal with the green. I put the green in the wrong spot. It's too low, which is fine, which is totally fine. Because you guys are seeing this, every week. But I film these, that was a bad thing. I film these right in a row. A lot of times I'll do 3 or 4 episodes in a row. So I still have all the paint out from when I was working on it in the last episode. And the episode before that, as a matter of fact. No, that's too far. That's okay. So I have the green still out, which is lovely. I could just kind of jump in and fix it here while I'm talking to you guys. This is way too wet. What am I doing? Come on, boy. I may not be able to fix that by the time the end of the episode is on or done. That's okay. We'll airbrush a little bit while that's drying. So what I got to do here, right in this little spot, this little building here, is I need to drop the teeniest bit of shading on that. I could do it with a paintbrush, but again, this is so much more efficient with an airbrush. The big question is do I have black mixed up that's going to work? And I do. Okay. So to get this in, do I have an angle template? No, I don't. Okay. I was looking to see if I had a little angle template floating around, but I don't. But that's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab just 2 rando pieces of paper here. One there and one there. That holds everything down. A little bit of black. And all I'm going to do is spray on the paper along the edge of that. Ta-da! Done. That brush needs to be cleaned out. That was almost a horror story. All right. All right, so now we can get the white edge in along the top edge of this pool. Are we having fun yet? All right, so from a purely capitalist point of view, The most expensive painting I ever sold was one of these. So it does work out in the end. You know what I mean? The effort is rewarded. It's not like it's, totally, insanity. I mean, it is, but it does work. And, I didn't say that to brag or anything. What I'm saying to you is if you put in that effort will be appreciated and rewarded. The mini soapbox today is wait for that to be rewarded too. If you do a piece like that, or anything you do anything like that, don't give it away. I mean, I say that meaning, you can certainly, give it to a family member. That's totally different. That's not what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Don't just, do something like crazy and then just, don't give it any value after it's done. That's not what we're talking about. All right. I've got green back in the brush, so this kind of dipped down this little line, but that's okay, because now we know how to fix it. You just kind of come in with the green underneath. Let's be a little bit darker. Where's my green? Oh, got smushed away. Need more moss green here. Let's put it over here so we're not near the Viridian. Running out of room here. That's all right, though. All right. Yeah. Oh, this is going to work out good because this is... I may just use this straight. Nah, put a little bit of white in it. There we go. A little more green. Okay. I want this kind of thick. Because this is going to be... Not only is this going to clean up this white line, but this is going to be my little shadow underneath the edge of this wall. Like that. Beautiful. Okay, how much time we have left? 3 minutes. Awesome. Good. We're going to finish this green. See how I went over to... Oops. There we go. I went over on that line a little bit. That doesn't matter. Because I know I have to do all kinds of work on this spot right up above anyway. So I'm going to put that green in where it should be, which is up here. Yes. That's better. Grab some of that green down in here. What's going on over there? Got a little bit of shadow on that too, since I've got this in the brush. And again, any little extra green I can add or whatever will increase the complexity of that color. You would think that would make it harder to repair, like if something happened to it. But in essence, it really doesn't, because I could get close with the green and then just kind of keep adding that repair color all over it. You know what I mean? So it, like I'm doing right now. So, well, yeah, it can look, if you're not totally close, it'll be a little bit of a job, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. I went too high with these windows. I don't know how much I care, though. Again, here's the other thing. If someone walks up to this thing and goes, yeah, that's the building I live in, but these two windows right here are too high, I would give them a hug. They would get a hug, because, man, if you are looking at the painting that hard, then, you deserve my undying love. All right. Other than the windows on this side, this building is pretty much done. I'm super happy. But all right, so I want you to kind of take a look at this thing now. Like, we've been really messing around with it. That little section is, smaller than my thumb, right? But look at how real that looks right now, and we haven't even done the shading on it. We did the shading on that middle elevator section, but when we do the shading on this side of the building and like down on this guy down here and on the street here, that you'll be able to, it'll feel like you can get down on that street. It's a neat effect. And again, it's one of the things that the airbrush does super well, those really subtle, soft shading. And you'll see that. You'll see that as we start moving across this thing. All right, so I think that's what we're going to call it, because the next thing is to move on to probably these buildings here. Once I get these buildings done over here, we're going to spray a little bit of UVLS on this to keep it safe, so we don't scratch off the edge or anything. All right, again, I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys are amazing. So don't forget to click that like and subscribe. If you're new here, welcome, 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 welcome. If you'd like to support what we do, again, like and subscribe is the best way to do that. It's the free way to do that. If you'd like to actively monetarily support us, that's amazing. You can become a member here like these lovely people, and also over on Patreon. That keeps the lights on. All right, so for Steve Leahy and Open Studio and this Tokyo painting through Lachlan's eyes, I will see you guys next time.